get started with the podcast series, I got a brand new product in from Notorious Family Bakery. You can make pizza with this one. This is the flatbread traditional. It's delicious. It's only 60 calories. And man, oh man, we're going to have fun making pizza with these. What else did they send me today? I got mini lavash flatbread with multi-grain and flex seeds. This is delicious too. Great for a wrap, tuna wrap, chicken wrap, you name it. Go on shop at notoriousfamilybakery.com. Use promo code ScottsTakes20 for 20% off. And boom, here we go. And I'm proud to welcome now Brett Zalaski, who is the Sports Business Institute managing director, who has an amazing background in the sports biz. Brett, welcome to the show. How are you?
Thanks, Scott. Appreciate it, man. Excited to be here.
Awesome, man. So before we get started with some questions, why don't you kind of give me a full scope of your career, how you got to where you're at today and so forth.
Yeah. I started my career outside of sports for an executive best practice research company called Corporate Executive Board, or CEB, which got popular when they wrote the book, The Challenger Sale. So I was lucky that I was in an environment that was a very, I started my career back in, 2003 or 2005 with them, that in a very aggressive sales company, but not aggressive in Wolf of Wall Street kind of way, just aggressive in the way that they taught and coached and managed and trained salespeople, and the way they taught us to think about sales and challenged us to think differently about sales. So very lucky to grow up in that environment. And then from there, got an opportunity to work for NBA League Office with their Teambo group, team marketing and business operations. Ran ticket sales for a couple of minor league teams in indoor lacrosse and women's soccer, two of my favorite years that I've ever had in sports, and got recruited from there to start Major League Soccer's National Sales Center, which unfortunately went debunked, during the pandemic, but was around for a decade and has created tons of vice presidents and senior directors and directors all across professional sports, and something I'm very proud to have played a really small part of as the first director for that program. Then I led ticket sales for two different MLS teams, the Columbus Crew and the Houston Dynamo. And I've been a sales trainer and consultant for over 60 pro sports teams around all that. So I think that catches us up to today where, right now we're taking a lot of the DNA of the National Sales Center alongside the ISBI. And what we're doing is we're training reps who are having a hard time breaking into professional sports, or want to break in professional sports, or want sports as a second career. We're training with them, we're working with them, we're creating short-term sales engagements with teams to help them increase their staff for very little overhead. We're allowing these reps to show what they can do. And, we've only been around now for a little over 8 months since we finished our pilot program. And my favorite stat is we've now placed over 40 people in full-time engagements with pro sports teams, which that's incredible in such a short period of time, having a real mark on the industry right now. And we're so lucky. We've got reps that come to us with hundreds of no's in their background, hundreds of sports teams who have said no to them, who are leaving us with 3, 4, 5 different job offers when they go out the back end. And that's, that to me, as someone that loves the training and the coaching, it's my favorite part. So to be able to do that consistently is a blessing.
No, that's fantastic. I mean, great background on your behalf. In my old life, I was a sales director, sales manager too. I don't talk about it enough on Scott's Takes. I'm talking more high level, but I'm glad we have you today. So what is the key? I mean, you obviously ran the MSL Sales Center, the Houston Dynamo, the Columbus Crew, NBA. I mean, you got experience galore. What is the key of running a successful sales team?
I don't know. You may want to ask me what are some of the keys to failure, because there's a lot more of those and a lot more road bumps than there is otherwise. But I put a tweet about it the other day that I know you engaged on a little bit. There's two sides to this. There's the strategic side and the people side. And the strategic side is critical, but I don't think there's anybody on this planet would be like, that Brett Zalaski, he is a strategic ticket sales genius. But I've got a large background of growing ticket sales and ticket sales success. And for me, people win a lot of battles. So if you are able to train reps and teach reps and coach reps, and I don't just mean here's 2 weeks of onboarding, here's a bunch of leads, good luck. I mean, consistent, ongoing training and development and teaching and coaching, and being thoughtful about how you deploy your reps and the situations you put your reps in. You allow them to be as successful as possible, and you consistently coach them and develop them along the way. You can win in a lot of places where your strategy falls down, because ultimately people buy from people. That has never changed, and it's even more important. I'm managing right now alongside, Kyle Burns, who's running our sales team on a day in, day out basis. We're managing 11 different teams right now in 7 different pro sports leagues all across the country. We're seeing an incredible dynamic, but at the end of the day, our top sales reps are the people that engage with people the best. And that's where I've always been successful in my past, is good people engaging with fans. It doesn't matter if your team's winning or losing. If you have well-trained reps engaging with fans in a positive way, people buy tickets. People like being at sporting events. People like to complain and bitch and moan, but they ultimately like being in a stadium. So as long as you're providing a decently priced ticket in decently organized areas and decently organized ways, but you have a great sales team, you'll win.
Now, what is your thoughts? And obviously this has evolved. Many inside sales programs are basically doing cold calls from basically the white pages and yellow pages type of stuff. I still see that in 2021 from teams I hear stories from. What are your thoughts on that? Obviously, the professional teams invest in artificial intelligence via Salesforce and have obviously warm leads through IP addresses, which makes it a lot easier for reps to talk to. Should teams with less resources waste their time and just smile and dial?
It's not as easy as that. There's still ways to no matter how crappy your ticketing platform is, there's ways to understand what single game buyers are and people who did those most recently and deploying them there. I also think, I don't think pro sports teams do a great job of selling and engaging on game day. I think that's an area that teams and organizations struggle. You think about it, and I know this, a lot of times when we walk into a stadium on game day, there might be 20,000 people there. Well, we know the names of maybe 5,000 of those 20,000 people that are in the stadium that day. There might be some other names in our database among those 15,000 other people. In fact, there probably are. But on any given game day, there's probably 20 to a third of your percent of the people in the stadium that we don't have any idea who they are, that are people that are coming. One person buys a ticket, one season ticket holder has 3 tickets, one individual game buyer has 3 tickets. That's the one name that we have, and the diligence that we can have on game days to be able to support that. You can teach reps and train reps that. You should have a SWAT team of reps to be able to do that. You can get individual game buyers from your most recent games. In the off season, you can take a look at who are multi-game individual game buyers that we can make sure we get in front of people. It doesn't matter how archaic your ticketing platform is, there are still things you can do that give credence and credibility to an inside sales force. It's those that are doing an inside sales force just to have more people selling, just to check a box. Those are the people that are dragging down the concept of what inside sales can be in pro sports.
Fantastic answer. And this kind of is perfectly way to my next question. We're obviously in 2021, we have more information, more data, more resources in most organizations. What's the future of leading a sales team in professional sports or collegiate or anywhere in 2021 and beyond?
The short answer is you let me know when fans are starting to Twitter DM credit card information to pro sports teams. Then I'll start to tell you that, yes, sales reps are becoming irrelevant. I still think sales reps are going to play a critical role going forward. And I always think the best ticket sales reps are the ones that you nurture internally. So ones that come from inside sales, the ones that move into an AE position to a senior AE position. Do I think we need to pay inside sales reps more? Do I think we need to pay sales reps more? 100% I do. I've been part of the problem that's paid them less. And so I'm just saying on the other side now, they need to be paid more. There needs to be a solution there for that. But ultimately, there needs to be more thoughtfulness between data, AI, and ticket sales reps. And so what I mean is we're going to still need ticket sales reps because we need people to interact with people. And until I see partial plans being sold primarily online, season tickets primarily sold online, when I start to see that happen, then I'm willing to have the conversation about making a full shift digitally, but it's not the case. What do pro sports teams sell? Maybe 1 to 10% of their plans online. 80 to 90% for most teams are coming from the interaction between the rep and the fan. So until that switches and changes, I'm still going to say with reps, but that's not to mean that you can't use artificial intelligence things There's companies, I'm just trying to think of some, there's whatever that company is that can actually like have conversations and qualify leads. Like, I think teams should invest in that. There's companies like Pilytics that sit on top of pipeline management systems. I think teams should be investing in things like that. OneMob, which allows video integration and stuff between them. I think we can be really smart about the way that we look at individual leads. And then I also think, we can be really smart about the way that we use data and information. And I know this is going to sound crazy, and to do some elasticity on our pricing to make sure that our reps are being put in positions that aren't being undercut by the secondary market in a lot of different ways too. So can we look at our pricing? Yes, we can. Can we use artificial intelligence to put our sales reps in better positions? Yes, we can. But I still think we need a well-trained sales force to be able to execute off the information that you get from both those teams. So again, until we start to see that flip in the marketplace, and I'm not naive enough to think that may not come. And I know there's a couple teams that sell a significant amount of tickets off partial plans, but 99% of pro sports sell 70 to 90% of their tickets through their sales reps. Until that model starts flipping, I think we need to be very thoughtful about the way we work across all those areas.
That's definitely, a great answer and fair assessment too. And as you listen to Scott's takes, 80% of what I talk about is secondary undercutting the primary. And obviously these companies are crashing the secondary, which is making it tough, very tough for reps to sell across college athletics, across Major League Baseball, even a little bit in the NBA and the NFL. So I think it's definitely paramount to be on the same page, what reps are focused on, what's your secondary distribution plan, what's your primary, so everyone's on the same page and has the objective to go, and it doesn't make tough on sales reps to say, oh, I'm trying to sell a ticket for $30 for a group ticket, and there it's on the secondary for $6. So very good point on that. And really last but not least, why don't you dive into, I know you did at the beginning, more about what you're doing now with Inspiration Sports Biz Institute and where folks can find you.
Yeah. Like I said, one of the things we're trying to do is we're allowing teams to expand their staff with trained up sales reps at a fraction of the overhead cost that it would. That's what we're doing for teams. For reps, if there's people individually looking for this, I want to break into sports or break back into sports, we're providing that opportunity for people to really put that practical, get well trained by us, but then get that opportunity to sell and gain that practical experience that people need to be able to do that. Brett at ISBI360.com is the easiest way to reach out to me. I'm on Twitter, I'm on LinkedIn. I'm pretty consistent in those channels. And then finally, my blog, which has been reaching, about 1,000 to 1,500 people per month, which I shut down to get up going with this, is now something that we're going to restart. Excuse me, that's empoweredsalesperson.com. And so that we'll be restarting. I had my first post the other day. We'll be at my next post coming out tomorrow. But it's, now that I've got a lot of data and information about what fans are looking for and how interactions between customers and buyers need to go in 2021 post-COVID, I'm going to be starting taking a lot of what we're learning with our sales teams and putting it out there for people to understand how those interactions need to go.
Awesome. So very exciting stuff from Brett. Mike Fish, our producer, will plug all Brett's information. Brett, thanks again for joining us in Scott's podcast series. I'll let you say my hashtag if you know it.
Keep it lean and clean.
Yes, you got it. Most people don't. You passed the test.
There you go, man.
At Brett too. Thanks, Brett.
Thanks.